video would only be appropriate to have uh, a little special guest. So this is Miss Aubrey Elizabeth. Oops. This is Miss Aubrey Elizabeth, and this topic is about kids. So.
I'm a little sensitive about the whole "when are you having kids" question. I've been married for almost 8 months now, and I swear to you, someone asked me while I was standing in my dress when I would be having kids. And I just looked at them and I said, "Do you realize I'm still in my dress? And you're really asking me that?" So I have a little bit of a sensitivity about the question. I know that my husband and I do want to have kids. Of course, that's something that we talked about before we got married. Something that we're both interested in. And in fact, we were talking the other day about the fact that if we didn't want to have kids, then we basically, for us anyway, we could have kept on going as we were before. We lived together for 5 years. And when we decided to get married, for us, like specifically say for us, that this decision was to get married in order for us to have kids.
After we got married, we had at our reception a big guest board that people could sign in and write things in. And I was surprised that more people asked when we were going to have kids, even though it was just our wedding day. But I know that shortly after, some of our aunts and uncles would joke around, "Oh, when are you going to have kids?" And then my sister-in-law and her husband had twin boys. So it was again, when are you guys going to have kids? Lauren has kids. You guys should have kids. And so I was like, yeah, not yet. And then when John and I had started thinking about it, we started trying, and it was taking a lot longer than we expected. And so dealing with those questions was pretty difficult because I knew what was going on, and he knew what was going on, but the other people, we didn't want to tell because then it just, I think, adds to the stress. Are you smiling? It just adds to the stress of everything. And so we just kind of kept it to ourselves. And some of our family knew. It was like, close people were, knew what was going on. And they, were there to support us. But I don't think people realize with a question like that, it's so loaded that yes, people joke lightheartedly, like, "Oh, when are you gonna have children? It would be so nice to have little ones running around, and for holidays and Christmas and birthdays, all that stuff." But I think that they don't realize that if there's couples that are trying, that it can be really upsetting, especially after we had our miscarriage. When people would ask, it took everything in my power to kind of, keep a positive outlook with them, and it would happen. But now that we have Miss Aubrey, she's so cute.
Yeah. So the topic of kids is one that I simultaneously love and hate, and that is because I think that some people just don't understand that it can come across as being incredibly rude if you ask somebody if they want to have kids right after they get married, because it's sort of like prying into a very personal part of someone's life. And exactly like Melissa said, it is a very loaded question, because you could go up to a person and say, like, "When are you having kids?" or "Oh, why don't you have kids yet?" and not know that they're maybe not able to have kids, or maybe they're trying and things aren't working out the way that they hoped that they would work out. So I just think that it's sort of like there should be this general unwritten rule, or maybe it needs to be written because obviously some people don't understand, that unless you are like very close to somebody, either a good friend or a family member, only then should you kind of, I think, wander into that realm of questioning, do you want to have kids?
I'm really too much of a planner not to have my whole life already scheduled. So my husband and I talked about when we would want to have kids, and we have our own timeline that we're basically keeping to ourselves, and that's more of a self-preservation move than anything else. There's so much pressure once you get married, and even before we got married, to have kids and settle down when you guys can do it, and have kids, go take that step. You're getting older. I actually had someone tell me that I'm 28, and someone tell me that you really shouldn't have kids after you're 30, which I think is just crazy. I mean, there's no rush for me to go ahead and have a kid just because my supposed biological clock is ticking. I don't hear tick tick. I'm perfectly fine waiting until I'm I'm ready and my husband is ready. Well, I think that that's the most important thing beyond what anyone else thinks is staying for or wants to have.
Do you want a sibling? Yes, but one day? Yes, not now, right? No. Okay. Say goodbye to the people.